Joining me now, we have two of our legal analysts who have followed this case very closely. I know we've talked to you both at times throughout the last few months as we awaited this decision. Mary Jane Trapp, you're a former appellate judge and current attorney with Thrasher, Dinsmore, and Dolan, and Ian Friedman, of course, a law professor and a criminal defense attorney. What are your thoughts right now?
You know, over the last year, we've been talking about this, and you have to start it every time by saying it's a tragedy. Everyone agrees there's a child dead. But the grand jury decision, as difficult as it may be for some people to hear, it's correct. The facts that were laid out show that there was no crime. Now, we heard, obviously, the prosecutor talk about we have a parallel court, the civil court. This is going to play itself out in the civil court, no question about it. Everything we heard during the news conference, it'll be heard there. But it wasn't criminal. The calls for, by the senator just now that, that this is a travesty of justice, I think that that's, unfortunately, not the proper way to have handled it. This wasn't a political matter. This was a very true matter by a grand jury. The grand jury clearly, obviously looked at it. We saw everything they saw, and they determined that there wasn't anything there. And to call on, as I think you would agree, to call for a grand jury just to indict to satisfy some, I think in the end it probably saved a lot. What are you going to do? Put it through a year or two's worth of trial to get a not guilty in the end? This was the right way to handle it. And even though it may not have been usual, I think the attempt to be transparent in the day and age we are with social media and what we've seen around the country, I think Prosecutor McGinty did the best he could. And again, I finished just by simply saying it was a tragedy.
Mary Jane, do you agree?
The journey to justice for this family is going to take multiple paths. Today, one path was closed, and that's the criminal path. But there's a pending civil suit, a 1983 action, a civil rights action. There's also the potential, I know the family's attorneys have called for the Department of Justice to become involved. So the courthouse doors are not yet closed.